This is Colin O'Keefe for LXBN TV. Late last month, the Supreme Court of Iowa ruled that a dentist firing his dental assistant for being, quote, irresistible was just fine by them. Though this case happened a little while ago, it's so odd I wanted to be sure we discussed it here on LXBN TV. So, joining me today is attorney Tom Crane of the San Antonio Employment Law Blog. Tom, first off, can you explain the case and how the court arrived at the ruling it did?
Yeah. This lady, Miss Nelson, worked for Dr. Knight for 10 years or so, and apparently over the years she wore clothing he felt was distracting. It was too attractive, basically, and he would make suggestions to her to wear a lab coat or that suggested she was wearing things that were too attractive. And the relationship, they formed some kind of a working relationship. It sounds like not sexual, but it became intimate all the same. There were a lot of texts over a certain period of time between the doctor and the dental assistant. His wife discovered them. It became an issue. She asked that he fire Ms. Nelson, the dental assistant. He did, and she filed a lawsuit, went to Iowa Supreme Court. Supreme Court looked at it and said, relied on cases involving a consensual relationship or flirtatious behavior, looked at those cases and said, yes, you're justified in firing this lady. I think the decision was wrong, but that's a different issue.
So, what is your opinion on the case? You mentioned you thought it was wrong, but what are your thoughts on the outcome of the case and how it was handled?
The Iowa Supreme Court engaged in some very difficult reasoning. They said the firing was not based on her gender. Title VII applies to people who are fired or suffer actions because of their gender. They're saying the firing wasn't based on her gender. It was based on the wife's jealousy but in doing that, it relied on those cases in which the female employee engaged in flirtatious behavior or an actual consensual relationship. So those cases don't really apply. And I think it's really straining things to say that the doctor was firing her because the wife is jealous. Well, the wife is jealous because the dental assistant is attractive and a female. If she wasn't female, this wouldn't have happened. I think it's pretty unfair, and especially since this isn't a trial, this is summary judgment. So the Iowa Supreme Court is affirming summary judgment, saying there's no factual issues. But I think there's a big factual issue. The big factual issue is why did the dentist fire her? Was it because of the jealousy? Was it her gender? Or was it a very tight mixture of both? I think that's a jury question, not a judge question.
Absolutely. It was a case that led many people to raise their eyebrows at how this decision ended up the way it did. It's a puzzling case for sure.
And the Supreme Court pointed something out too, by the way. It said, in a way, this decision will allow the judge, the dentist has about 10 female employees. In theory, he could fire all of them on the theory he might become attracted to them at some point in the future. And I think it's a dangerous precedent for any employer.
Once again, that was Tom Crane of the San Antonio Employment Law Blog. For more of his insight, visit SanAntonioEmploymentLawBlog.com, and for curated commentary from the Lex blog that works thousands of authors, along with more video interviews like this one, visit us at lxbn.com. Thank you, Tom.
You bet. Thank you.